What's going on YouTube? This is SG1 Sports and you're watching our Big Ten channel. We're going to preview the 2024 schedule for the USC Trojans here in this video. Before we get to 2024, let's look back at the schedule from 2023. Here was last year's schedule, and you can see, of course, they got off to that 5-0 start, and then the schedule really caught up to them. At Notre Dame, Utah, Washington, at Oregon, UCLA. Pretty tough schedule there down the stretch despite that 5-0 start. They wound up finishing 8-5. You look at their non-conference schedule, played San Jose State, Nevada, and Notre Dame, and it's going to be even tougher this year in the non-conference. And of course, they're going to be playing in the Big Ten as well. Here is this 2024 schedule. Let's break it down. First with the non-conference, they'll play LSU in Las Vegas, neutral site game there. LSU, USC in Vegas. They'll play Utah State and then Notre Dame. So get the rivalry with Notre Dame. That means LSU and Notre Dame are two of your three non-conference games. That's pretty tough. You look at the home schedule, again, Utah State, Notre Dame. Then they get Wisconsin, Penn State, Rutgers, and Nebraska, which means 4 home games in the Big Ten, 5 road games. So that's going to make it even tougher. This is a pretty tough schedule. Those home games, though, in the Big Ten are all games that they could win. I mean, you look at especially Rutgers and Nebraska, Wisconsin, that's probably an pretty evenly matched game there. Penn State could be a tough one, but they have a chance, I think, in all their home games. Let's look at their road games now. And again, LSU's a neutral site game. They'll play at Michigan, at Minnesota, at Maryland, at Washington, and at UCLA. Again, you're not playing anyone that's impossible to beat there. They don't play Oregon. They don't play Ohio State, who I believe are the 2 best teams in the Big Ten. So it's a tough schedule in the fact that they don't have many easy wins, but they have a lot of winnable games. So it's kind of it's an easy schedule in one way, but it's kind of a tough schedule in another way. But we start with the Sunday night game against LSU in Vegas, September the 1st. Then they'll play Utah State on September 7th at home. And then it's Michigan to open up for their very first Big Ten conference game on the road at Michigan, September 21st. Not going to be the same Michigan team that we saw last year, but they'll still be good on defense, and that's still a tough place to play. And then they'll play Wisconsin on September 28th, back at home. Then they go on the road to face Minnesota on October the 5th, and then Penn State at home on October 12th, and Maryland October 19th, again on the road. And so it's kind of like their schedule goes back and forth, home and away, pretty much throughout the whole schedule there. And then they'll play Rutgers. So let's circle back for a second. Their first bye week is actually after Utah State. I missed that. So before playing that Michigan game, they get a bye week. It's a really early bye week, but could be needed for a tough road game there, like a game against Michigan. So Rutgers on October 26th. Then they play on the road at Washington on November 2nd. And then they get a bye week after that. So a pretty early bye week and a pretty late bye week. They'll get one before Nebraska at home. Then they play on the road at UCLA November 23rd and close things out with Notre Dame at home on November 30th. So again, it's a tough schedule in the sense that they don't get any, really any easy wins. You could say Utah State maybe. And then it's not that tough because they don't play Ohio State and they don't play Oregon, but they do play 5 Big Ten road games, only 4 at home. You don't really see any tough stretches where it's like 2 or 3 really tough games back to back. Their toughest stretch probably, well, I guess if you go from Michigan on the road, then Wisconsin, then on the road at Minnesota, Penn State, at Maryland, that's a pretty tough stretch there. Back-to-backs, really, UCLA, Notre Dame at the end, probably their toughest back-to-back. Hard to say how good UCLA will be. So the schedule's, it's spread out pretty good. No back-to-back road games. So an interesting schedule for USC in their first year in the Big Ten.